Okay. Yeah. Hi. Hi everyone. I'm an engineer in Orca, and I'm just gonna present some like beginner tutorial about Unreal and C++. Just want to heads up, like my experience with Unreal is like not an expert, but I just like played around with it for like a good 10 months on the side. I made like a mini game with Blueprint only, with C++ only. Yes, you can do that, and a mix. My lesson is like don't actually do the first two. The best way to work with Unreal is actually to have a mix. What I found is, to be honest, like there's a lot of like good C++ resources. Just an FYI for Unreal. That's what got me pushed to do this talk. And the tutorials get outdated fast, so you'll be confused a lot if you follow like a tutorial that's 2-3 years old. Just you're gonna get so confused. This is a quick thing from Unity to Unreal for people who know Unity. The quick things that it's good to know. Mode behavior in Unreal is like actor. Scene is map, hierarchy is word outliner, and then the rest is like this was for me a way to learn when I got started with Unreal, because I started with Unity. In code, for example, start is begin play, update is stick. Another few differences between Unity and Unreal. Well, Unreal is open source, Unity is not. Unreal components have hierarchy. That's a good one to know. But Unity has flat hierarchy for components. Unity, of course, much larger community. Although Unreal Blueprints community is pretty big. The other thing is like, if you're coming from Unity, you get confused by their game objects disabling. Like in Unity, you can like press a tick and you can disable it. But in Unreal, I can show you really quick. For example, you want to disable this, you have to actually put this so you don't see it in the scene. Or this one, don't see it in the scene, and then go to details and like hide it in the game. So actually 2 steps. Through code, it's even more complicated because you have to actually disable collision, disable a few things. I think 3 or 4 things you have to disable. Where in Unity you do set active false and you're done. That one was frustrating when I started. Another thing that you have to know, Unity scene and game are together in Unreal. Like, you only have this, which coming from Unity is kind of frustrating because like Unity scene is pretty useful. For Unreal, you have to actually play and eject, and that's how you see it, which is like an extra step. You can learn more about like the differences from this article in the Unreal Engine. I'm just gonna keep it here. Okay, there's a few things that I want to like mention quickly about Unreal that they're very common or good to know. The game mode basically says what your default camera is, what the default pawn is, what your default player, actor, player controller, and UI. Actually, I can show you really quick here. You can set it here, like what's default pawn, what default HUD. So you can have multiple game modes and you can like switch between them. I usually always have like these as you cannot turn these off, but you can turn these 2 off. So it was like I don't ever want to use the default pawn. And yeah, that's basically it. You get a spectator, player state, game state. I'm not gonna go through them through this presentation, but actor is basically the base class of everything. Pretty much like mode behavior game object in Unity. UActor component is like the component that can be added to the actor. And we're gonna go through these, but these not. Pawn pretty much is an inherits from actor and is just adds few functionality where something can and like possess a pawn and depossess a pawn. Character controller has functionality like swimming, running, jumping, building functionality. These are the most important things to know if you're gonna do a mix between C++ and blueprints. If you're gonna remember just one thing from the presentation, at least remember these two, and we're gonna get to use them. uProperty, new function. I'll show you actually in code to be quick. uProperty basically allows, is like what makes C++ community with blueprints. So I can say edit anywhere for uProperty, the starting health, and I can edit it from blueprints. So I can go to something that inherits, for example, asteroid inherits from this damageable actor, and you can go here and you can see it has a starting health. I put it starting health here, 3. That's for property. And there's different ways of you can edit anywhere, and you can make it blueprint, read and write, and a lot of other things. Hopefully we'll get to cover. Functions, basically they're like functions you can call. Like let's say event on death, I'm gonna call on death. Basically this one, yeah, on death is this one. Blueprint implementable event, which means this event gets implemented in blueprints. So I can do things when I call it from C++. This one is blueprint callable, so I can call it from blueprints. So I can do like apply damage here and call it. This is my so yeah, these are the most important thing to have a game that works between C++ and blueprints. Any questions so far? Yeah.
Would you mind zooming in the code just like 2 ticks?
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so blueprint implementable, this is an event that gets a blueprint callable and edit anywhere. This is a uProperty function. Just remember that for now, and then we'll get to use them. So.
Did on death have the little squiggle under it because it's not implemented in Visual Studio?
Yes, it's because it's not implemented in C++, I'm letting blueprint implement it. And we'll get to use that. Okay, I'm gonna check how much. Okay, we're still okay on time. Okay, so let's make a small game. Hopefully we get all the features that I set up for this. And basically, we just want to make side-scroller space shooter. You just have a ship, you move around with WASD, and then shoot with space, shoot projectiles, and you have asteroids coming at you and just make them explode. I wanted to actually start from scratch, but it takes a lot of time to compile if you're changing the H files, and I don't want to spend a lot of time compiling here. So I just want to go through things that I set up, pre-set up, so you don't get confused. But there isn't much. So I started from an empty C++ project with starter content. I just went here, new project, C++ here, and starter content. For art, I did, they have great sky sphere you can play around with, where you can just flip the sun as if like it's set, and then you have stars. And I'm not gonna go through that, but it's kind of cool. That's art-wise. And I went ahead and created a ship called our ship Sabo. But this came from the starter content. And there's nothing special here. I put it in, put some light on it. There's nothing here. And then I created an asteroid. Also just art. Nothing implemented here. And then created a camera. For a camera, I put the logic. I always want to keep camera logic in blueprints. Think of it as like presentation, so people can play around how they want to set up the camera, designers. All it is, the camera can move because it's kind of side scrolling, so the camera is going to start moving and the ship has its own movement. The ship's trying to catch up. Level blueprints, basically, if you go here, you can actually open level blueprint and it can set up what happens in your level. So I just spawned the camera, I spawned the actor, the ship. That's all I did. That's made the ship take control of the player controller. This is maybe something that people should know. Like, you can go, basically make the ship take inputs from player 0. Where is it? Anyway, this is not important, but like you can get the player to take input. I don't know what it was. I think it's something here. Anyway.
If you're not selecting the asteroid, you're going to be on the ship itself.
Oh yeah. And I'm like, where? Yeah, auto receive. So it was disabled. You have to write auto receive from player 0. Thank you. So anyway, that was the setup. And then the other thing I set up is the H files. So we don't actually have to get a hit on compile terms. So H files, let's start with our ship. So basically, let's try to have the ship move first. We have some movement. So for our ship H files, we have a speed. This is when I'm actually moving the ship. Auto speed, sometimes I want the ship to move by itself, and then I can have a boost. These are edit anywhere, so I can like, see here, I can set it up from Blueprint, which is kind of useful for iteration. And then I give it a starting health of 1. And we'll get to the health part. That's it. Of course, and then I added Blueprint callable, add horizontal movement so we can move left to right, and vertical movement, and be able to fire shot. This is our H files, and we're going to implement all of these. There is no logic here. We're going to implement it. The other thing I want to mention quickly, I set up the inputs already. So for fire, space bar, horizontal input, AG, double vertical input, WS, of course. Okay, so let's get started on implementing this. To make horizontal movement,
If you run right now, what happens?
Oh yeah, run right now, nothing happened. There is nothing, just a ship. The camera is looking at the ship, nothing.
Isn't the blueprint the camera's movement already implemented?
I already implemented it, but I give it a speed of 0.
Oh, I see.
If I make it like speed of 10, well, actually 10 is pretty low, 400. Then yeah, but now our ship doesn't move, so. Okay, so let's do the horizontal movement. So I have a direction. I always want to add inputs to this direction, and then every time I tick, I just move it. This is very simple. So F vector delta will be. I want to move on the x-axis, so value 0. I might go fast when I'm typing, but if you have questions, just stop me. And then I'm going to do direction plus equal delta. I'm adding this. For horizontal, that's on the x-axis. For vertical, should be on the y-axis. So now I have a direction that gets added every time. So I need, when I'm ticking, this is called when I'm ticking, I have a delta. So I need actually to make the ship move. So F vector, let's start with next position, because I need to determine the next position. Next position starts from current position, so get actor location. get actual location, if you're coming from Unity, is like transform the position, nothing special there. So what we're gonna do is next position we'll get the direction that we just got populated from inputs, multiplied by delta time, multiplied by the speed, call it boost speed, because we're gonna have auto speed. And then finally, last step is set the actual location to be the next position. And one last step we shouldn't forget is resetting our direction to 0.f. Okay. So now let's f vector 0 vector. Okay, let's compile and so now we have two methods that are actually print callable. So we need to actually call them. And that's where it's good to have the inputs driven by the by blueprints. So I'm gonna build my solution. Go to my ship. This is my that's not my ship. This is my ship. And set up the inputs. I'm waiting for it to compile. Oh, it's compiled fast. Yeah, if you do C++, it actually compiles fast. So the inputs are set up here. So horizontal input, you can just grab it, search for it. Axis event, this is the input. Every time I click left or right, I'm gonna go apply, or what do we call it here? Add horizontal movement. So I'm gonna add horizontal movement. The value, of course, is the axis value. We can play right away. I'm gonna put the camera to P0 so we can actually see that. Okay, so we have a horizontal movement. Vertical movement should be the same. This is the color. Vertical. Okay, we press play. So now we have like actual ship movement. Any questions? This is pretty simple.
If you don't reset direction every tick, would you get increased inertial movement?
If I don't reset, it will go crazy, but I just
There's no friction in space.
yeah, it would just because if I don't reset, I'm just adding inputs. I'm adding direction. Direction gets bigger and bigger.
But then it's more like the asteroids gate where you have to adjust your velocity.
Yeah.
You don't reset
So
direction, you
yeah. So yeah, of course we need to do that. Okay, so we did this. Let's do some fire some shots. Originally, I was going to implement the projectile from scratch, but we have no time. And then I actually want to show the power of Unreal. It has so many things built in, it's incredible. So we're going to actually create a projectile without a single line of code. We're going to create a blueprint from actor, projectile, BP. I always add BP to say it's blueprint. Projectile, I'm going to make it sphere. Give it some material. I created like a projectile material here. So make a thread so it's clear. Go to, this is where Unreal comes in. Because you can add a component and they have projectile movement component. You can just add it, compile. You can give it an initial speed. I tested this to be 3000 is good speed, so we don't save waste time there. We don't want our projectile to have gravity, so we'll just clear that. Okay, so now we have a projectile. That's all I need to do to have a projectile. Next step is whenever I'm firing, pressing space, I need to spawn this projectile. So I'm going to implement this. The projectile class is passed in here. This actually should be called projectiles class, but whatever. So remember in a real, to spawn anything in the world, you need the world pointer. So I'm gonna get world. So now I have the world. I can do something like this: world spawn actor. It's gonna be an actor. Pass in the class of the actor. Pass in the position. Okay, this is what you need to think. We need the actual position. Technically, a ship. We need to shoot from here, so we need to actually have the model lengthen and project it here. But for now, we're just going to shoot on the ship's position, which is a vector spawn location. Is pretty much get actor location, and we're just going to spawn the projectile from within the ship and see how that goes. Rotation we don't need it to change because it's a sphere. If it was an arrow, maybe we have to put it based on our direction. But it's a sphere, so it doesn't matter. Okay, so let's compile this. So remember, this fire shot is blueprint callable, so I need to still call from blueprint. Once this compiles, okay. Okay, so now we did the movement, so need got this. So we need the fire shot event to the fire shot method we added, blueprint callable method, to happen every time we press this input that we create is called fire. So action event. So every time I press it, I'm just gonna fire, and I need to tell it to fire the projectile that I just added. Projectile BP. I just added. We compile, save, go back to our scene. So every time, okay, it's too big. So we'll make it 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 3. Okay, so now, yeah, every time I'm firing, I have a projectile. So that's cool. So next step, we need to actually have something to fire at.
Mayor, quick question. Instead of actually defining everything that you did in fire shot, you could have implemented all of that through blueprints itself, right?
That is why. So my experience is have blueprint as little as possible. Like have all the logic actually, like blueprints. The way I see it is like core logic in C++. Blueprint just call it, like hook up with the input. And the other thing that I use blueprint for is like, explosion effects, audio. But like when I started having more logic in blueprints, that's when I just give up on the project and move on. Just like I don't like. I always want to keep blueprint as simple as this one hook. That was my experience. You may have a different experience.
Mayor, where do those projectiles go? Because you never despawn them in.
Oh, that's actually good. That's a good thing. We should give them. Oh, this is another good thing about Unreal. We can give them. So yeah, they never despawn. Yeah. So we need to give them a lifetime. I think good lifetime is 3 seconds, so they can actually despawn after 3 seconds. Yeah, thank you for that. You'll see them despawn after. This is one of the great things. Like Unreal has so many built-in. It's kind of ridiculous. The moment you know about it. Okay, so we need asteroids now. Like, as I said, I created an asteroid.
Sorry, is that lifetime that you gave, was that a property of
A actor.
projectile or always actor?
A actor. Any actor you can set a lifetime. Actually, the asteroid, for example, I give it 15 seconds. I remember giving it a actor 15-second lifetime. So after 15 seconds, it will spawn. Because I don't need. Oh, there is also they have pulling and stuff. You can actually pull them, but you don't even have to. But I actually never used the pulling, but I just saw it. That I can actually use pulling for these things. Okay. Okay, so now we need something to shoot at, which is the asteroid. So the goal here is to start spawning asteroids off screen. So as we're moving, we're seeing the asteroid and we can shoot at them. That's where I created this class called spawner. I'm gonna go through what I have set up already. So we don't have to spawn. We need a spawn timer, spawn interval, how often we're spawning, and the spawn class, what are we spawning. And this is where actually spawning the object. Start spawning is to set up what class, and it's called from Blueprint again. What class we're gonna start spawning and for how, what's the interval. The other one, stick, that's just the tick of the actor. So start spawning, just set up our spawn timer 0, spawn interval, whatever we give it, and the class, whatever we give it. And every time we tick and we reach the timer we need, that's when we actually do call spawn object. I pass these so we don't waste time writing them. And I put the helper here so I don't remember the syntax. But all that we need is spawn object. So every time we hit the spawn interval, we need to spawn something within the screen. Like randomly. Like I guess we don't need to know where, as long as it spawns something randomly. And that's where I found this method. Again, Unreal gives you a lot of like built-in methods. So this one gives me a point within a bounding box. So if I give it an origin and a box extent, it can give me a location. F vector spawn location. And I just needed to say what is the origin and how big is the box. So let's create those. So origin. So what the origin would be? The origin would be pretty much our camera center, because we want to spawn anything within the screen. So our camera center will be our origin, and then the box extent would be the viewport size x divided by 2, and the viewport size y divided by 2. This is the viewport size y, this is viewport size x. So let's try to get our camera position now. To get the camera position, we can do, so it's camera manager, player, camera manager. That's the one that had the camera, so it can give us what position is. So camera manager equal, we can get it from the world. We first get the player. Get first player control, because the player control has the camera manager. And then we can get the camera manager. Camera manager, player camera manager. So now we have the camera manager. Unfortunately, I'm not going to have time to go through what camera manager does, but I mean, just manages the cameras pretty much in a nutshell. And so we get it. That will give us the main camera position.
Missing the point of the camera manager.
What?
Missing the step. next to the
Camera manager should be appointed.
Oh yeah, yes. Yeah, my bad. Think we can do const here? So we don't have modified. Okay. So camera manager that get camera location. Okay, so now I have the camera location, which I can use as my origin. Can I go first here? Camera location. And so the origin is the camera location. Camera location that x, camera location that y, and then we don't want to take there's z axis because the camera is pulled back. Now we need the extent box extent. As I explained earlier, it needs to be the viewport size divided by 2. So I'm going to go fast here.
Would you not get the z from the z of the ship? So they're on the same plane?
Yeah, that's a good point. I could technically, but I'm the same. I'm not using z except for the camera.
Right.
Everything is on 0 for the z.
Gotcha.
That's why I don't care about that. But like, yeah, it's correct. If I had some depth, I would have gotten the camera.
And the camera is orthographic, I guess? Is it an orthographic camera? So the coordinates are...
No, I kept it. I mean, yeah, we can change it orthographic, but I like the perspective. Camera, if I go here, perspective. I mean, I could change it orthographic, but I just like having some kind of field of view. We can change it later and see how it looks. Okay, so we're doing okay in time, so we can try to go. Okay, so viewport size, that's y divided by 2. Hope this is still clear for everybody. Origin. Any question for this? Yeah.
You sure it's good to use the viewport size if you want the size of the viewport? Because the viewport size would be in screen pixel, and the world is in world units. Again, that's why you were asking the question about the orthographic view. It's not very important for now, but...
Okay, let's...
We'll see when it presses play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so it might be outside of the...
The other thing is we should know, like, from the camera X, I want them to spawn like ahead, so I'm just gonna add the viewport size here. Because if I'm on camera here, I want to spawn off camera. Hope this is clear. Okay, so we finally have a spawn location. Quickly, we're just gonna spawn it. World that spawn actor. A actor. I'm gonna type it fast. So we want to spawn the spawn class that we defined in here, and then the spawn location and rotation. I guess still we don't care. 0 vector. Done. Okay, let's compile and see what happens here. Remember, we still need to call this to set up what are we spawning from blueprint, because that's our blueprint. For this. Try to speed up the compile time as much as possible. Okay. Then, so we're going to go to our spawner. This is just inheriting from our spawner C++ class. That's all it is. Nothing in here. There's absolutely nothing. This is even nothing. And it has like the regular begin play or start energy. And then we want to start spawning as soon as we start the game. The interval would be, I guess, 1 second from now. And we need to spawn asteroid, the class we created. So let's compile, save. Okay, finally we think we can see the asteroids are spawning. Oh, yeah, they're spawning. But we're not moving. So we never actually created the auto movement, so I'm gonna start because if the asteroids are spawning off camera, I'm not gonna actually get to them. So let's quickly add auto movement. This will be, oops. Vector, auto delta. I'll be fast here. It's basically all I'm saying is like move to the right automatically. Like I want the ship to be moving all the time. And auto delta time. Plus the auto speed that I have an auto speed that I can tune from Blueprint. So now our ship can actually start moving forward. Oh, can you compile? Just making sure I didn't miss anything here. Okay. Hope this is clear. Just adding straight vector. Okay, so our ships should start moving by itself. Our camera is not following. That's where I'm gonna make my camera. Let's make the camera a little bit faster than the ship. The ship speed, auto speed is 500. We'll make the camera 600. Okay. So yeah, the camera will catch up, and then we have our asteroids. Nothing happens when we shoot them for now. Okay, so now we have asteroids that spawn off camera, and then we're moving towards them in a random box. Great. The last thing we need to do is actually be able to shoot these asteroids. Any questions so far?
The event beginning play just run once, right?
Yeah, run once
How
when the
can you
game.
spawn like a bunch of asteroids if you're calling after the beginning play event?
He calls begin spawning, not spawn once, but that component keeps spawning.
Oh,
every game.
okay.
Oh, yeah,
That's
okay.
the point, okay.
This
Spawn
com-
was
So
off
the
the chain.
beginning play has to take that.
Yeah.
spawn.
I call the yeah. I'll show you real quick. Start. This is called start spawning. What I want to spawn for what interval for every second, and this will actually detect.
Makes sense.
What is it? Spawner.
So I guess you could have put the tick logic in the blueprint, right?
Yeah,
And have like an on tick
but
if the second is elapsed, it's spawning. But
yeah, I
this
could
is
I
not-
could
this
have
is
done
not
the whole
artificial.
lot. I could have done this whole game in Blueprint. Look at this and just. To me, it's faster to do C++. Writing code than having, well, especially when the game gets complicated. To me, it gets out of control. But yeah, I could have done everything here. I could have said at begin play, have an interval, then ticks, and then for whenever it finishes ticking, I'll just spawn. But I will have way more blueprints here. Okay, so what we need to do actually be able to damage the asteroids. I already set up the fact that asteroid comes from a damageable actor, and I have a class called damageable actor. It has starting health, a current health. You could apply a damage, and this gets called on death. So now let's implement the apply damage. This is super easy. I'm gonna always want to apply one damage, and I can say if health reaches 0, then despawn the actor. Okay, so I can say call for on death event that is implementable by Blueprint, as we set up here, and then I can just destroy. So another can get destroyed. So let's compile. Again, my asteroid inherits from this actor, and I give it 3 health. So it requires 3 shots to get destroyed. Let's save. Let's see if we can. Okay, well, I'm not dying because we didn't actually do the hook in the blueprints. So I can say when it overlaps with anything, I can apply damage. This is the applied damage that I created in code. This is blueprint callable, this one. So I can call from here, which I did. And I'd want to do it whenever the actor begins overlap. This is like begin, I forget what it is in Unity, on collision event.
Or like on trigger enter or?
No, this is on collision. On trigger, they don't have actually on trigger. It's mostly the way it works. You can collision. There's stuff here you can set up to make it like a trigger. I forget what it is. Yeah, it's one of these. But anyway, so I can now apply damage when I hit. So I should hit my code. So I'm destroying it. Hope the ships are visual. Okay, the destroyed are visible. So after 3 shots, they get destroyed. So that's great. But we need some explosions.
Maynard, for the overlap test, is it using like a bounding box or the geometry of the?
I created a hitbox for this. It's using bounding. I don't want it to use the geometry. I think there is a way to do that. I think more expensive or something.
No, I was just curious, like what it was using.
I just created a hitbox and we see this.
So the projectile doesn't need a hitbox in order to interact with the asset?
No, this hitbox is the one detecting anything, unlike say anything that overlaps. Overlap all dynamic, if you see it here.
So, Mayor, does that mean if you shot it twice and then ran into it with your ship, that the ship would do the 3rd damage?
Yes.
Because you're not filtering out.
Yes, I'm not familiar. Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah.
But my
You can take damage every time you do
but
it.
my ship is also inheriting from a damageable actor. So that I made the ship inherit from the damageable actor. Let's see your ship. So the ship can take damage as well. So, and I give it health of 1. So the more that happens, my ship is dead. So let's try that. Well, I wanted to get it to it. Oh no, not yet, I guess. Because my ship doesn't actually call anything, so I can do apply damage to my ship here.
Since you're shooting the projectiles from the center, then wouldn't you just kill yourself? If you spawn the projectile inside your ship and it doesn't discriminate against
Inside you use the bullets wisely.
Yeah.
Projectile doesn't have a hitbox.
Right, well, if the ship had a hitbox though, and it checks for any overlaps, wouldn't when you fire the projectile from inside the ship, wouldn't it apply damage to itself? I guess we'll find out. Yeah.
Let me.
That was a much make this a question.
So. Okay, let me first compile this, and then have the overlap. Apply damage for the ship first, and see what happens. Okay, so now the ship can take damage. Let's hit an asteroid. But that one I created. I forgot to delete. My bad. It's here. I forgot to delete. But we're gonna do the same for the asteroid because we need some explosion for the asteroid. So I have an event on death again that I'm calling through C++. And this is another cool thing. That's why you want to leave these effects to blueprints. You can just like spawn emitter, and that's where you can spawn an effect, and I can say, oh, explosion, particle system explosion. That explosion is coming from the starter content, and what else here? Oh, location. I wanted to spawn at the actor location. Actor. Okay, so basically what's happening here, every time I overlap, I'm applying damage. When my health reaches 0, I'm calling this on death. This on death is blueprint call and implementable, so I can do stuff when this hits. And I'm gonna just spawn an explosion.
So is the order of operations there guaranteed? Because you're trying to get the location of something, and the next line in the C++ code, you're destroying it. So the guarantee of it knowing where the location is. Is that order of operations that's
If I flip these,
yeah, so
then I'm gonna die before even.
So the on-death fires from here, and then the blueprint picks that up
Yes,
and does stuff with it, and then the destroy place.
Yes.
Is that guaranteed every time, or is there some
that's
variability?
guaranteed.
And
Okay.
then the destroy anyway, I think the destroy is kept forever in the frame. So it just
Yeah.
flags as being destroyed and then the frame is inside.
If I flip these, I don't think I can. We can try it after.
Question, so like following what Martin is saying, so for example, if the designer gets on that total wait time of 10 seconds, do you still get the destroy or no?
Like on that with it.
Yeah, so like this, so,
Oh no.
so like the blueprint logic is able to affect the order of operations C++, that's the question, right? If you add a wait time on that would stall this, that call destroy.
Yeah, we'll solve the.
The blueprint delay would be asynchronous, wouldn't it? So the object would be destroyed, the thing would be delaying on the blueprint side, and then eventually get to the end of it. And if at that point you try and get the actual location, it's probably too late.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. So I'm pretty sure if I flip these, it won't work. Let's finish everything and then we can actually test it. Okay, so one,
Mayor's like, this pair programming stuff sucks.
I feel like
More semicolons.
the explosion is very small, so let's make it more gigantic. You know what? Actually, we're gonna because there is a few slides I need to go through. Another thing important, but I think So now we have kind of a game, I guess, and then we can dive in. And that was pretty much done with like 3 classes and few hooks in blueprints. There's not much going on here. Actually, I need to go through the slides, but let's do this test real quick. If you flip this, I don't think anything will work. At least the death won't work. Because you destroy the thing, then the on death won't be called. Because the actor will be destroyed. So let's flip it. Can I have crash or something? Oh yeah, it crashes. So whatever, yeah. I guess it crashes. Now we found out.
Do you get any output when this happens? So you're sitting there banging your head against the...
Okay, I need to go through some slides. Do I get any input?
Any output? Does it tell you, like...
Why? Does it? No,
why?
I don't think it does. Let's see.
That's not very helpful.
You lost your... It's because you recompile. We fixed and recompile.
Oh, okay.
Where did the explosion go?
Okay, good. This is the flip. That's pretty good. Let's compile again. Yeah, I don't know if there is a... Oh, it doesn't. It's still working. That's pretty strange. I guess it still works.
But it doesn't get the on death, I guess.
Yeah,
to trigger the
Oh, it doesn't
explosion.
get the on. Yeah, it doesn't get the on death. That's correct. So I guess it works. Like if we flip it again, compile.
I wonder if that's because it doesn't get the on-death event, or whether it doesn't get the
It doesn't get the on death event because you died.
Yeah.
So then you don't see the explosion because I have a hook.
Or is it getting the event, but getting the location to be the origin because it doesn't know the after?
That's good.
Exercise.
We can.
You should be able to see in the outliner. So.
Yeah.
I mentioned this because this is a common thing that happens. Is like
Yeah.
the assumed order of operations between the code and the blueprints.
Yeah, especially in your case, it's very common.
The thing is, let's see. If we see an explosion in the outliner.
Why is not exploding anymore? Why is not exploding anymore?
Well, because
You flip them over.
now flip it again just to see. But yeah, there is no explosion. So explosion doesn't even happen at location 0. So we confirmed that if you destroy the blueprint callable, it's not even gonna get called if you destroy first. Okay.
It's weird that it's data sign.
Like it's hard to track down.
Looks like it's responsible.
Okay, let's think this was the architecture. Yeah. Technically, this one should be like in my opinion should be component, but I just wanted to show hierarchies here, because that way, if it's a U actor component, then I can like make anything damageable by just adding component, so it's more flexible. The other thing is, I think I don't know what else for it. But so the last, pretty much the last thing. How are we going in time? 22. Okay. I just want to go through the tips that from my experience with Unreal. So there's ways to boost compile times. I followed this, so I think it's good to do it. Just like making things CPUs more and put it in. Always put it in SSD. All that stuff. Thing if you're starting, you wanna do this so you have faster iteration. I found that using the APS search directly is very useful. Like I can always search for something, get actor. How can I get actor location, for example, and then I can click C++, and I can always click C++ here. I just want to show you. This is the best resource. And then, includes. It always gives you what includes you need, and small description. There is not that much information for me, but like, for me, like instead of Googling, I found doing this is way more helpful. So I just wanted to share it. I found Visual Studio 2019 is faster for compiling and IntelliSense. And I also found that building from here, from Visual Studio is always faster than building compile from Unreal. I don't know why. But if I do compile here, it takes longer for me. Make use of blueprints for gameplay iteration. Don't leave like values in C++, because you want to change it, then you have to recompile, and it's slower. Keep core logic in C++, the rest in blueprints. Again, I think of it as like, yeah, all the logic, like for example, the sim logic technically stays in C++, and blueprints are just calling this when things happen, or when I'm pressing a button or something. Use debug prints instead of, breakpoints for me don't work out properly because you always have to restart the Unreal Engine from start. Maybe there's a way, I couldn't find a way. So I use usually this to debug. Print string, print float, and print vector, and I can add more to it. And basically I can see it on the screen, what the value is, rather than breakpoints.
So breakpoints just don't work?
Well, no, they work. Breakpoints work, but the problem is they have to restart Unreal.
When you add a new breakpoint.
Yeah, and then I usually do. Maybe there's a better way to do it, and then I compile from here. I do F5, and it will fire up Unreal for the breakpoint to hit.
Oh, so you can't attach the process.
Yeah, like, it's not like Unity attach, detach easily.
And it's just with the hot reload, it seems to get confused and
Yeah, I found it very painful. But again, if you find a better way to have breakpoints working properly for you, I want to know about it. Keep hierarchy light. Yeah, make use of components. Unfortunately, we didn't get to components today. And that's what I want to talk, if I could do another talk, what stuff to include. But components basically, there are things you can add to an actor.
I was wondering, could you have done the damageable as a component?
Yes, I could have done damageable components.
That seems more flexible than
way more flexible. But I wanted to show the hierarchies. I wanted pretty much to demo the, you see this, create a new instance for me to debug, but I actually don't want to. Basically, components make use of components as much as possible. And you always can get the actor, you can do get actor, get owner, and then you have the actor, you can do the same things. And then the component you can add to any actor, and then that way you keep your hierarchy light. Yeah, keep hierarchy light, make it a component. Do not reinvent the wheel. Unreal has so much. For example, damage. There is actually, pretty sure there is a built-in damage system. You can do apply damage. What is this? Because I opened two instances. This is where the, anyway, like, Unreal has a lot of stuff. Try to see the API, what it has before implementing it. This I found very, renaming a C++ class that have blueprints implemented on top breaks everything. So I try not to rename stuff. You can do forwarding to make it work, but I wish Unreal has a better way to rename stuff. Hopefully in the future.
I think just a comment on breakpoints. I think the Blueprint system also has breakpoints, and you can debug messages.
Oh yeah, Blueprints has breakpoints. Let me show you. Yeah, Blueprints has great breakpoints. Hopefully I can have time to show you real quick. Let me go through the rest of the slides.
It's very useful. You've got lots and lots of nodes doing it.
Yeah, to add a breakpoint in Blueprint, you can press this. Right click, add breakpoint. So when you're playing and that hits, you should get a breakpoint. Good. Yeah, so that I had my breakpoint, and you can see what is happening. Okay, so let me finish. 2 minutes. But yeah, anyway, think Unreal does great. The fact that it's open source. If you're uncertain about something, you can just open the source and look it up. Found that very useful. Blueprints are very, very powerful because it gives a lot more power to designers and artists. The chain of built-in features. They are tools that are great. And I think what frustrates me about Unreal is the fact there is no scene in game. To me, is quite a pain coming from Unity, and I wish they kind of split it, but I'm not gonna, because I always have to eject, and sometimes this doesn't work properly, and all of a sudden now I have just the scene. I don't have the game. I don't like it much. Faster compile time. I think Victor, you told me they're working on live compiling. I don't know much about it.
A lot on when you change the function, you can see it right away. I think they acquired some company that was working on that, and either already integrated it into Unreal or will be integrated.
Yeah. So. Yeah, and they don't have a way to opt out of features, which is also kind of because you start and you have a lot of things you don't need, like networking and stuff. But I found a way to disable them, but still. So for next presentation, anyone wants? Because I was thinking I could cover these: actor components, AI, animations, audio, UI, but like most of these are actually blueprints, like animation, audio, UI. But if anyone wants, like for next presentation, for me to tackle a subject, please let me know. That's it. Any questions?
So in Unity, I noticed we have the take function, right? And it seems like it's equivalent to the Unity update function.
Yeah.
So in Unity, there are like fixed update, late update, and normal update functions.
Yeah.
On Unreal, is there any?
I'm gonna say I don't know. I only use tick. There may be. Yeah. This is one of the things that I actually never needed. Any like physics updates. So I don't know, but I can find the answer for you. I hope I didn't go fast, but yeah. Cool. Thank you, everyone.
Next meeting.